Hello and welcome to Advent Broadcast Network News this week. We are going to highlight a number of stories from around the world, including the Adventist Church appointing a new university president in the Dominican Republic, evangelism in Tonga experiencing an abundant harvest, landslides killing 15 in Western Venezuela after heavy rains, and many more stories. So stay tuned to the end. Remember to like the video, leave your comments, and also share. I am Jane Nwena for Advent Broadcast Network. A sign of eternal life in the Blue Lagoon. In line with the Trans-Pacific Union Mission's harvesting mission, more than 60 people were baptized into the Adventist Church in Kiribati in July, including students from Kauma Adventist High School. According to Kiribati Mission President Pastor Taabua, the focus for this year was on friendship evangelism. Friendship evangelism merged with the Farming Cycle Initiative is the strategy. They are sharing the good news through the commitment of the members of the church and integrated programs from the mission level to the local churches. As part of this friendship evangelism model, a major focus in Kiribati this year has been the act of following up with Hope Radio listeners and also conducting Bible studies with those who were interested in previous evangelistic campaigns. Reports already confirmed that there are so many people interested who are in need of Bible studies after listening to Hope Radio. The radio has done its part to spread the good news. Now it's the work of the church leaders with the church members and ministers to do the watering. Due to the limited number of ordained pastors in Kiribati, their two most senior pastors have been appointed to conduct baptisms in the outer island too. This was as published on the website of the Adventist Record. The Adventist Church appoints a new university president in the Dominican Republic. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Dominican Republic appointed Jose David Gomez as the new president of its higher education institute in the Villa Sonador Monsenor Noel. Dr. Gomez was welcomed by the institution's board of trustee members, educators, and students during a special installation program held during the school's commencement ceremony on July the 29th. Dr. Gomez, a native of the Dominican Republic, accepted the new appointment as president of Dominican Adventist University, the UNAD. He had been serving as the institution's vice president in charge of the campus planning and development. Previously, he served as executive vice president of the Dominican Adventist University's Santo Domingo Campus Extension Department. Gomez replaces Angel Guzman, who was elected in April 2021 as vice president of academic affairs for the Inter-American Adventist Theological Seminary based in Puerto Rico. During his 36 years of denominational service, Dr. Gomez has also served in Puerto Rico as Vice President of Campus Planning and Development at Antillean Adventist University, chaplain, school principal, district pastor, Bible teacher, Bible worker, and literature evangelist. Dr. Gomez has 2 doctorate degrees in education from the Universidad of Puerto Rico, one with an emphasis in guidance and counseling and another in educational administration and supervision. He also obtained a doctoral certificate in religious education from Andrews University and a master's in education from the University of Puerto Rico. Gomez obtained a bachelor's in pastoral theology and secondary education from the Antillean College, now Antillean Adventist University in Mayaguez. Former university presidents prayed over Dr. Gomez during the official installation of his new responsibility leading the Dominican Adventist University. Established in 1946 as the Colegio Adventista Dominicano and later upgraded to Dominican Adventist University, the institution offers 10 undergraduate degrees and 5 postgraduate degrees. The university is accredited by the Adventist Accreditation Agency and the national government in the Dominican Republic. This was as posted by the Inter-American Division's website. Evangelism in Tonga experiencing an abundant harvest. 35 people have been baptized into the Adventist Church in Tonga, and the number is continuing to grow thanks to local churches and colleges enthusiastically adopting the Tonga Mission's harvesting vision. Throughout July and early August, Beulah College hosted a 2-week evangelistic campaign ending in 20 baptisms on Sabbath. And Vaini Church also hosted a 2-week campaign which resulted in the baptism of 15 people on the Sabbath. Other churches organized further outreach, with Vavau District Church beginning their harvesting campaign on August the 8th, and the Hapai District Church and Popua Church beginning theirs individually on August the 15th. The church on Javier Island has also completed the first week of its harvesting program, while baptisms are yet to result from these latter programs. Fanueli Mataela, Director of Evangelism for Tonga Mission, remains optimistic and says that pastors and members are in action sharing the good news. The church has been so overwhelmed with the infilling of the Holy Spirit, and the rest of the churches are geared to do harvesting until the end of the year. This is as published by the Adventist Record. In Ireland, Adventists launch new ministry for reaching the secular mind. With a passion for reaching out to young people in the secular or skeptical mind, Dan Serb, president of the Irish Mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, recently launched a new ministry titled Believable Talks. He shared that the initiative is specifically aimed at anyone interested in the often contentious relationship between religion and science. It is designed, he said, as a platform for open and honest dialogue where questions and doubts are welcome. The main premise of the initiative is that the beauty of rational and life-enriching thought is found in the process of inquiry and the search for objective truth. Now he plans to produce materials meant to evaluate and give a fair hearing to varying and sometimes opposing views on spirituality, faith, and science by engaging some of the latest theories and research from relevant fields of study. The first project on this platform is launching the docu-series Beyond the Burden of Proof. This 7-part series focuses on faith, truth and reality, religion and violence, cosmology, the theory of evolution, morality, and the future. The presentations are not sermons or Bible studies, Serb said. He added that the objective is to provide an open door for further inquiry on spiritual matters. The series launched on August the 1st with the first episode, The Faith Imperative. Episodes are being uploaded at intervals of 1 to 2 weeks, and episode 2, The Truth About Reality, episode 3, The Burden of Peace, are all already available. All episodes can be viewed on the initiative website and its YouTube channel. They will also be available on Adventist Review TV. While it is an initiative of the Irish Mission, the series has been made possible by an international collaboration of funders, advisors, and also experts. This was reported by the Trans-European Division news site. A historically diverse administration has been elected to lead Pacific Union Conference. Bradford C. Newton has been elected president of the Pacific Union Conference, replacing Ricardo B. Graham. The latter is retiring after 14 years of service as president and more than 46 years in ministry. Elected to fill the role of executive secretary that Newton has held since 2008, Sandra E. Roberts, president of the Southeastern California Conference, is the first woman to be elected to serve in the administration of the Pacific Union Conference and within the North American Division. Delegates returned Stephen V. Mayer to the position of treasurer. Leon B. Brown, senior president of the Nevada-Utah Conference, was elected to serve as vice president. Jorge Sorio, retiring after 47 years of ministry. The elections were a significant part of the agenda for the delegates on the 31st Pacific Union constituency session held on August 15th and 16th of 2021 in Tucson, Arizona, United States. More than 350 delegates participated in the constituency session held every 5 years to conduct the official business of the church. NAD President G. Alexandra Bryant served as the chair of the nominating committee for the constituency session and led the delegates in the balloting process. He said that you have just elected the most diverse group of officers in the history of the Pacific Union, a remark that received a standing ovation from the delegates. Speaking directly to the members of the new administration, Bryant added that this body elected you in an overwhelming fashion. Lead this union to the next level as we prepare for the soon return of Jesus Christ. This was as posted on the Pacific Union website. Landslides kill 15 in western Venezuela after heavy rains. 15 people are confirmed to have died in landslides in Venezuela's western Merida state. Streets in mountain villages were converted into raging torrents after the torrential rains hit the areas in the Andes. Footage taken by locals showed cars being swept away and boulders strewn over muddy roads. Most of the fatalities occurred in the town of Tovar, where the Mocotis River burst its banks after hours of rainfall. Officials said that the electricity plant in Tovar had been damaged and that residents had neither power nor telephone connections. This is not the first time the Mocotis Valley has been hit by deadly mudslides. In 2005, more than 40 people died and dozens went missing in the area when several rivers overflowed. The Al-Shabaab attacks Somali military base and recaptures central town. Al-Shabaab fighters stormed a military base in the center of Somalia on Tuesday and recaptured a town it lost to government forces earlier this month, eyewitnesses reported. Residents of Amara in the Galmudug region said the morning assault started with a suicide bomb attack which targeted government special forces unit known as Danab and Darawish. The Somali army and Darawish forces responded with airstrikes and triumphed over the attacking Al-Shabaab forces, killing several combatants, according to the state media, which did not provide details on casualties or the status of the military base or the town. Amara is a strategic town which lies in the route of the coastal town of Haradere, another of Al-Shabaab's stronghold. That was once a pirate base at the height of hijackings of merchant ships in 2001. Al-Shabaab's radio analyst said in a broadcast the group was behind the attack and the capture of the town, adding it had seized 14 cars and 10 gun-mounted pickup trucks. Officials of Galmudug region were not immediately reachable to comment, nor were the spokespeople for the Al-Shabaab. Earlier this month, the government and Galmudug regional forces took control of Amara, which has been under the Al-Shabaab control for the last 10 years. Their joint operations also liberated several towns from Al-Shabaab, including Badwin and other villages in the region. The Al-Qaeda-linked group often carries out attacks in its war on Somalia's central government. It aims to topple the government and impose its own harsh interpretation of Islamic law. It has targeted Somali military bases and civilian infrastructure, including hotels, bars, schools in both Somalia and neighboring countries as well. France's COVID-19 hospitalizations are the highest in 2 months. The French health authorities reported that the number of people hospitalized for COVID-19 and those treated in intensive care units (ICU) stood at the highest level in more than 2 months, as the Delta variant of the disease has put a renewed strain on the health system. The daily new infections increased by 5,166 over 24 hours, but were down by 11.4% versus that of Monday, and the 7-day moving average of daily additional cases decreased to 21,130 versus 23,700 10 days ago. Regarding ICU patients, the peak of this fourth wave could be reached in the days to come, the health minister said, adding that he remained wary of a possible back-to-school effect in the week's time. He said France's main independent health authority would soon recommend a third COVID-19 for those older than 65 years old. The number of people hospitalized for the virus rose by 356 over 36 hours in the time frame exceeded since June 17th. Patients treated in intensive care units for the disease increased by 87, the highest since June 10th. The COVID-19 death toll went up by 108, the 11th highest in the world, with the 7-day moving average at an almost 3-month high of 109. At more than 6.6 million cases since the outbreak of the disease, France has the 5th highest total of infections globally. In Nigeria, kidnappers attack the top military academy. At least 2 people have been killed and another abducted in an attack on Nigeria's top military academy. An army spokesman said unknown gunmen broke into the campus in the northern city of Kaduna in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The Nigerian Defense Academy trains elite officers for Nigeria and other African countries. There have been dozens of attacks and mass abductions in Kaduna and other northwestern states in recent months. Many students have dropped out of education because schools and colleges are targeted so frequently. The latest incident inside a military facility is embarrassing for the authorities and is another indication of how terrible the security situation is in Nigeria. Zambia's Hakainde Hichilema is sworn in as a president in rare victory for an African opposition leader. Zambia's newly elected President Hakainde Hichilema has been sworn into office after pulling off a stunning rare victory for an African opposition leader. Hichilema was inaugurated Tuesday morning at a ceremony attended by leaders such as Tanzania President Samia Suluhu Hassan and Malawi leaders Lazarus Chakwera. Zambia's second female vice president, Mutale Nalumango, was also sworn in during the ceremony. Hichilema defeated outgoing President Edgar Lungu in a landslide by almost 1 million votes in his 6th attempt at becoming ruler of Zambia. It was a stunning turnaround for the politician famously known as HH. Hichilema spent several months in prison in 2017 for what was widely seen as politically motivated treason charges. The charges were, however, dropped under intense international pressure. After initially indicating he may challenge the result, Lungu addressed the nation following the election, saying that based on the revelations issued at the final results, he will comply with the constitutional provisions for a peaceful transition of power. Despite conceding defeat early, Lungu was booed by some of the crowd as he made his way to the stage at the packed Heroes Stadium in the capital Lusaka to hand over power. Hichilema called Tuesday a new dawn in Zambia in a tweet ahead of that ceremony. And now joining us with more news from Zambia, we have Mabel Chitimbiti, who's going to tell us exactly what happened at the inauguration ceremony and what the situation is in Zambia at the moment.
Hakainde Hichilema sworn in as Zambia's 7th president. President Hichilema took oath of office, which was administered by Acting Chief Justice Michael Msonda. The 59-year-old won a landslide victory by about 1 million votes, unseating the incumbent President Edgar Lungu. The Kalaf ceremony was attended by various heads of states and governments beyond African continent, United Kingdom, United States of America, and other international bodies. He becomes the first Adventist to hold the office of president in Zambia. The victory is the 17th opposition win in sub-Saharan Africa since 2015. Mr. Hichilema's first address as president focused on the country's economy, a consistent message he carried throughout his campaign. President Hichilema promised to restore macroeconomic stability by bringing down national debt and restoring investor confidence. The businessman turned politician outlined what he described as an ambitious economic and social transformation agenda that would see the country reach middle-income status. Drawing from his experience as a businessman, who became one of Zambia's wealthiest men, he promised to diversify the economy and encourage entrepreneurship and innovation in a country that has been criticized for its over-reliance on natural resources. African Union AU chairperson Felix Tshisekedi thanked President Edgar Lungu for the smooth transition of power. Mr. Tshisekedi, who is the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC president, said he is looking forward to working with the new government under the leadership of Mr. Hichilema. Meanwhile, the president of Malawi, Lazarus Chakwera, who is Southern African Development Community SADC chairperson, praised Zambia for being a shining example with a smooth transition of power from one government to another. And Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, praised Zambia for the democratic manner of changing governments. Mr. Hichilema vowed to leave office peacefully after serving his term. Reporting for ABN News, I'm Mabel Chitimbiti in Zambia.
More than 270 homes were destroyed in central Tennessee as flash flooding killed 18. More than 270 homes in central Tennessee were destroyed in deadly flooding that killed 18 people and left 3 still unaccounted for days later. A damage assessment conducted by Humphreys County showed 271 homes were destroyed by Saturday's flooding, according to a news release from the county's Emergency Management Agency. Another 160 homes had major damages and 28 had minor damage. Middle Tennessee was smacked with heavy rain on Saturday, leading to devastating flash flooding that ripped homes from their foundations and sent residents scrambling as it washed through communities. Up to 15 inches of rain fell over a 6-hour period. Among those killed were 7-month-old twins. Emergency Management Agency spokesman Gray Collier reported. The details surrounding the infants' deaths were not immediately available. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis took a helicopter ride on Monday to survey the destruction and became tearful when he described what he saw. Hundreds of homes were affected by the flooding in some form, David said. To aid the catastrophic flooding, President Joe Biden approved a major disaster declaration which will provide financial assistance to individuals and households to recover from the damages in Humphreys County. Governor Bill Lee said on Tuesday, those impacted can apply to the federal individual assistance program for any kind of help. And finally, in Jamaica, Project for the Deaf will take Adventist student to UN Youth Conference. Letitia White, a student of the Northern Caribbean University, NCU, and president of the National Police Youth Club Movement, NPYCM, in Jamaica, was chosen to represent her country at 2 United Nations youth conferences. UN youth conferences assemble youth leaders from around the world to discuss their opinions and solutions to global issues. At 20 years old, White is the first female from her parish to be elected president of the National Police Youth Club Movement, Jamaica's oldest and largest youth organization. The National Police Youth Club Movement, NPYCM, is made up of 154 active police youth clubs across the island and has over 1,000 members. Being selected under the category of security, she wanted to return from the conference with at least one crime mitigation strategy to propose to Jamaica's Commissioner of Police and the Prime Minister. White is committed to using her position to change lives. She was moved to help this vulnerable yet overlooked group, and the Police Youth Club was awarded a grant of $10,000 to execute the Safe and Sound JA initiative. Although she is still a second-year communication studies major in NCU, she is passionate about youth development and ultimately wants to fulfill that drive by becoming a teacher. White had strong influences early in life that prepared her to make large-scale contributions while growing up as an active member of the Mount Prospect Seventh-day Adventist Church in Huntly, Manchester, Jamaica. White is planning to attend the World Youth Model United Nations in Istanbul, Turkey in November. She will, however, miss the Arab Youth International Model United Nations in Dubai next month because she was unable to secure the funding. And that marks the end of our session today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Advent Broadcast Network, liking the video and also sharing it. We appreciate all the support you have granted us so far. And if you would like news from your part of the world to be featured in our segment, reach out to us at info@adventbroadcast.net. That is info@adventbroadcast.net, or find us in our Facebook inbox. I'm looking forward to having you again next week. It has been my absolute pleasure to have you with me today. I have been your host, Jane Nguyen.